And there I was. I was the girl from Suits.
This one's wife. What is this satanic brew? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. It was the 4th of July, Independence Day, celebrated by the fair folk of the United States, albeit that day you are treasonous, traitorous colonists that rebelled against the might of the British Empire. Terrible. Anyway, putting that to one side, this one's wife naturally decided that she would utilize the occasion of the 4th of July to get onto Instagram, to garner some fuel, to assert some control, to manage her facade of being a foodie and a mixologist. Yes. As a consequence of the occasion, naturally, this one's wife is inspired to triangulate people with the event of the 4th of July, because naturally, when it comes to other people, what does the narcissist do? Pursue the prime aims. And thus we get another video that has been uploaded to Instagram for her to share, to assert control, and to draw fuel. Let's take a look at the piece of footage. It's accompanied by American Girl by Tom Petty. I've removed the song to avoid any potential copyright issues, so you'll just gain silence. But let's take a look at what this one's wife has served up. I know there are those of you who regard this one's wife as a witch, and I can understand why people call her as such. But that status appears to have been confirmed as a consequence of this satanic brew that she has rustled up. What on earth have I witnessed here? Well, we see this one's wife looking pretty skinny, it has to be said, but the old Ozempic doing its job, I guess, as she shares the footage with us as she goes for something red. It's raspberries. Yes, and as you can see on the screen throughout the video, she tells us about the 4th of July cocktail hour. Muddle raspberries. No, that's not a type of raspberry. It's actually an instruction as to what to do with them, except she doesn't. Add ice, gin and tonic, or spirit of your choosing, top with blueberries, garnish with mint. Surely elevate with mint. Cheers with the ones you love. A straightforward cocktail, isn't it? Which is basically gin and tonic with a lot of fruit. Anyway, accordingly, the raspberries are placed, and then she attempts to muddle. What fresh heresy have I just witnessed? You don't muddle with a fork, you incompetent woman. You muddle with a muddler, or, at best, the back of a spoon. But she's mashing them like she's going to pour them into one of her Soylent Red concoctions. It's absolute disgrace. As she mashes away at them with a fork. You either buy a muddler made of chrome or wood. It's a little bit like a pestle, basically, for when you have a pestle of mortar when you're crushing things. But you have a specific muddler. The problem is when you do this, when you mash rather than muddle, you run the risk of getting too much of a bitter taste. And that'll be overpowering in a gin and tonic, because the ingredients of a gin and tonic are meant to taste relatively bitter to begin with. Anyway, the red slop gets dumped into a pair of glasses, and then it's time for the ice. Now, I don't know if you're like me, and with this regard, I sincerely expect you to be so. But when I ask for ice in my drink, I don't expect the barman who's been scratching his backside to dunk both his hands into the ice bucket and say, "Here you are, Mr. Tudor, here's your ice, fresh with fecal matter." But, of course, this one's wife, with her freakish eye for detail, decides that it's entirely appropriate for her to grab ice with her bare hands and dump it in. What is wrong with having just a spoon? Use that. If you haven't got the appropriate implement to a pair of tongs to pick up the ice, use a spoon. Use your fork if you have to. But your bare hands, Lord knows where they've been. And, okay, if you were making it for yourself, well, you might want to avoid making yourself unwell by using bacteria-laden hands to transfer ice into your drink. But as you'll see, she's making a drink for somebody else as well. I certainly wouldn't want to be served anything by this woman as a consequence of her paws having been all over it. Scooping up the ice like one of those attractions at a fairground and dumping it in with Lord knows what else. Dump the ice, give it a shake, and then in comes the gin. Now, the bottle looks like Hendrick's, which is a perfectly acceptable gin. She adds tonic. Can't quite see which tonic it is that she's used. And then blueberries. And of course, we know that she's going for the red, white, and blue. And naturally, when she dumps the blueberries in, she's so pleased with herself, she has to just laugh. That ridiculous response that she has, where everything's hugely amusing to her. Add a strawberry, stick in some red and white straws, and then, of course, look, I am actually a proper gardener. For once, I'm actually picking something from the garden. I'm not getting it from Whole Farm Foods or whatever it's called. I'm picking mint from the garden and elevating these drinks. And here I am with my chum. Here, have a glass of gin and tonic, which basically has a meal dumped in it. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, and as I said earlier on, I sincerely trust that you are. I don't want a fucking meal when I have a gin and tonic. All that fruit. This gin and tonic's delicious, you say, as you chew your way through it. Preposterous. When it comes to a gin and tonic, it's a straightforward drink that doesn't need messing with. You need 50 millilitres of Hayman's London Dry Gin, an excellent gin, and then 120 millilitres of Thomas Henry tonic water. And all you need to do, utilising tongs, is place ice in your glass, use a Collins glass to serve, and then pour your ingredients in over the ice, and if you are going to add some garnish, a lime wedge normally suffices. Some people like cucumber, fair enough. Some people like lime, some people like lemon, that's okay. But that's all you need to do. Clean glass, ice in, add your gin, add your tonic water, boom. Simple as. That's all that needs to be done. I'd recommend to you Hayman's London Dry Gin, crisp, complex, very refreshing, and also Thomas Henry tonic water. Give those a whirl. Next time you've got a hot day and you fancy a G&T, you'll thank your glorious narrator for doing so. Whatever you do, don't use your fucking fingers for the purposes of picking up the ice. This Satanic Brew that she has made, and I know that she's going for the red, white, and blue, but if you really needed to do that, I suppose you could leave out the lime and put a strawberry on top, or, quite simply, you might purchase glasses which have got some red, white, and blue on them, or you could dress the glasses up so that they're red, white, and blue. But that isn't a cocktail. It's a gin and tonic which has got a load of fruit shoved in it. Mashed, not muddled raspberries, a load of blueberries. Yeah, just what I want to do. Chew my way through my drink. ridiculous. But once again, it demonstrates that the desperation that this woman has to demonstrate that she is of the moment. Hey, look at me, I'm having the 4th of July cocktail hour. Saying cheers with the ones you love. Oh, where's Harry? I thought you loved him, although we all know you don't because you're a narcissist. He's absent. What about the kids? How about making them a non-alcoholic cocktail? They perhaps enjoy celebrating 4th of July, but oh, they're not around either. Why is that? So you're hanging out with one of your non-intimate secondary sources, who clearly is deemed to be more appropriate and more important than your family. So as the two of you stand there, and naturally, because there is a camera on you, you have to do some stupid little jiggly dance. I mean, how old are you? 13? But once again, you see, why does this one's wife behave this way? Why do you get the stupid grins? Why does she do these little laughs? Why does she do the little jiggery dance and look straight into the camera? Because her narcissism tells her, it's cute. It's cute when you do it. Except it fucking isn't. It looks false or phony, as our American cousins would say. And it's phony and false because she doesn't actually understand the way to behave, because she has no emotional empathy. And as I've explained to you time and time again, her narcissism must make an approximation of the way to behave. And the result is she looks ridiculous and she shares her satanic brew with you all. Absolute outrage. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.